Coming up on the grand final edition of the Sunday Roast, as always, we celebrate the winners and we roast the losers. This is our final roast for the season. Make sure you guys listen. We've got an awesome Jed Walter story. We listen to all your guys' comments, so we definitely try and touch over everything. Roast the players we have to, and obviously give a lot of credit where we have to as well. Guys, thank you so much for listening all year. If you guys want to, as Jev says at the end, make sure you send this to a Geelong supporter. He wants to make sure that they all hear it. So you guys know what to do. Give us a like, a follow at 100k Sports, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for the year. Enjoy the final roast. We've absolutely loved every second of it. Enjoy.
And now, 100k Sports and PointsBet presents the Sunday Roast.
Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, the show that celebrates the winners and roasts the losers, the show that gives you all the best odds of the bets you weren't on but wish you were. It is the grand final edition. It is the last Sunday Roast of the year. Joining me as always, Jev and Dobe. How are you, brother?
Jev, I can't believe we're here. It's actually quite shattering. Like, we've only got one game to talk about, and it's weird that sometimes it takes us an hour and a bit to get through all the games of the weekend or a prelim. We'll probably still go a bit over an hour for this game. We'll see how we go, but it's the best day of the year. I think you'd probably agree you could actually enjoy the day a little bit more now that the Swans weren't in it. Yep. We had an awesome day. The weather was perfect. It was probably the best weather day in Melbourne that we've had here in probably 2 weeks. It's been miserable, windy, raining. So it was a picture perfect day. And yeah, so we'll pretty much go into all of it. So we'll start off, I guess, yesterday morning, Jev. We went to the Clubby Sports breakfast. So we helped set up. We're doing some small stuff with Statmate and PointsBet, of course. So thank God that you're a chippy. They had no idea what they were doing. You had to set up all the canvas stuff behind. Jev's like, give me the Allen keys. Watch me go to work, boys. So I hope you put an invoice in for that. But they did have a special market, Jev. Do you want to tell the people the Bailey Smith market? What they had on yesterday?
If you signed up new customers, they said his line at 28.5. You had to pick the over or the under. And they gave 7-1. $7 and then the bonus bet went into your account at about 1 o'clock for the game. And then you got $7. Basically, everyone went the over at 28.5. And I think he had 29 touches, didn't he? He hit his over. So
that's
29. That is a good win.
So we went there. I don't think we realized how big the breakfast was. So there was probably 25, 30 tables full.
It was like 50 tables of like 10. It was even 400 people there, I reckon.
Yeah, so like honestly, well done a deal. Like that was fucking awesome. BT did a roaming Brian. He literally went through and was just ripping shreds off people, knowing that it wasn't get recorded. So
it's legit. Like he had half an hour before he jumped on Triple M, obviously, and jumped on the 7 call, and he just got there half an hour, roaming Brian, cracked gags, and got out of there.
And then Mike Brady got up. So he said one day in September, and then he's like, "All right, guys, I've actually only got one more song." Did up there, Kazali. Apparently, he pockets like 70 grand just for yesterday in cashies. What a day for Mike Brady.
40 gigs this week at like 5K a gig or something. He just plays up there, Kazali. He calls the song his superannuation fund, he reckons, and it was a banger. We were front row, and it was so good.
It was awesome. And then who else was there? Had a quick chat to Bevo. So we saw him.
We're buying dogs memberships. Best bloke of all time.
He's the best bloke of all time. And then, so that was an awesome start to the morning. So we got out there by about 12:30. We ended up getting tickets late because obviously we were just trying to get some a little bit cheaper. But anyway, we weren't all sitting together until the very end, but we all got there. We were sitting level 1. We were sitting at the Brisbane Lions end in the first quarter. So I guess we got in, we put all our bets on. And then, we got into it. So, Jev, let's get into the first quarter. What'd you have written down? You were taking notes.
We were taking some notes throughout the game. And then I rewatched the game a couple of times and, we rewatched the day and just loved it. It's just something about being in an event and then going back and watching it and sort of remembering what you saw, even though we probably had a couple of beers and you're like, we enjoyed it. And then you rewatch it and you're like, fuck, that was good. First quarter, just a couple of notes I've got is like, no team wanted to lose it at quarter time. I'm just going to go as a Swan supporter. The last 2 grand finals I've been to, the game's been over at quarter time or half time. They just sort of slowed it down. There was a lot of misses, but they just made it muddy, super like contested, one-on-one. Just don't lose it at quarter time. Game will open up. And it was just stoppages in forward line territory, a lot of tackling, slow it down, some dirty shots on goal. What did Zach Bailey walk off with? 4 points at quarter time.
Yeah.
Which is just unbelievable.
And that was to our end. So we were watching him. There was a couple of forward 50 stoppages where not one Geelong player wanted to go to him. Like I don't know what the game plan was for him, but not one person went to him, and he had good looks. Like he's finished the grand final with 9 shots on goal. Obviously, he finished 3 goals, 6, but he was looking to break the game open early. I went and looked as well, Jev, and you could tell how hard Brisbane were going. So they had 24 tackles in the first quarter. And as you said, no team wanted to lose at a quarter time. No team wanted to show their hand completely in the first quarter. Bailey Smith got his hands on it about 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5 times really early. And we're like, all right, Baz is going to try and work himself into the game. But Brisbane just did so fucking well to do what they had to in that first quarter, first half, just to really lock it down. And one thing that I noticed, and if you're an Essendon supporter, I was chatting to a couple last night, I'm a Carlton supporter, the amount of times Carlton get the ball, we don't know what we're doing, all the shit teams, to be honest, and they just dump it down the line. Brisbane didn't do it once. They get the ball inside Jasper Fletcher. They go into the next one, Ashcroft, McCluggage, and they just chip their way back to Zorko. They just go up and down the ground, or if they do go down the line, they make sure it's to the back shoulder of like a Logan Morris who can at least try and punch the ball out of bounds and get it out, then they reset. They just don't take the easy way out. They just work their way through, back their skills, and just watching it live, especially watching them the week before against the Pies, just how fucking clean they are. Like, I'll get into it later, but they have the cleanest hands of any side I've ever seen.
Oh,
ever.
So
they make chances. So, yeah, I thought the first quarter was good. Did you have anything else written down?
Yeah, like Zach Bailey should have had an enormous with. Cam Rayner dropped that soda. He could have kicked the first, where he didn't have a possession in the first quarter, and it was basically an uncontested mark. It wasn't the easiest mark. There was people around it. He's the only one that went up. He had 2 good hands who had dropped it. Couldn't fit the first. Ollie Dempsey kicks first. Like, why weren't we on Ollie Dempsey? Feels like kicks it every week. But just everything about the game, the atmosphere, the crowd, the weather, the national anthem, Snoop Dogg. It was just 10 out of 10. And sort of how the game did start a bit slow and like it wasn't 20 goals kicked in the quarter. It was just, I think it was 1 goal 4 to 2 goals 4 or something at quarter time. I don't know the exact score off my head.
Oh, 162-3.
It was just so good being there. So like just soaking up the atmosphere. Good fans. I like how they split the bays, as I say. Good fans on both sides. These teams don't really hate it. Like they don't actually care. They don't hate each other. They don't have a big rivalry or anything. So it was just 10 out of 10 being there.
It fucking was, mate. It was that fucking good. What'd you have for the second quarter? So we get into it. So Geelong kicked 3 goals in the second. Brisbane kicked 4 goals as well. So it felt like we're on the wrong end of the stick. It feels like there's always goals at the other end, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it was goal for goal, and it was all about taking moments. Jack Bowes took his moment. Logan Morris buried his moment. Charlie Cameron buried his moment. Shannon Neal had that shot. He buried his moment. And you're just like, yeah, they got their chance. They all started kicking. Like, here we go. They're going goal for goal. They're kicking goals. And I wrote down here, I wrote it yesterday. In 2026, no matter where you live in Australia, right on your bucket list before the season starts, I want to go to a game, sit behind the goals, and watch Harris Andrews play football live. We've sat behind the goals the last 2 weeks, Das, you and me. He is awesome. He's just fucking awesome, isn't he? That he runs the game, and they'll send Neil, and they'll have Blitzarves tagging him, and Neil, and he goes to where he thinks the ball's going, and he becomes a brick wall, and it's 10 minutes at a time, the ball can't get past him. He is so impressive. Intercept marking, spoiling, how much he kills moments, slows games down, just gets it out of bounds. And, he's so good. Like 2 weeks in a row, all 4 finals that I've watched, I'm like, this bloke is so impressive. I can't remember the Gary Ayres medal voting or anything. I hope he wins the Gary Ayres medal. I think he's been the best player in the 4 finals. I'm just like, what a player. Yeah, and I had that written down. What do you have for second quarter?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that he probably wins a Gary Ayres as well. But just touching on him, I think even the previous era would all say Matt Scarlett was probably the best defender in our era, or like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Whatever you put him in, Harris Andrews, you have to put him in that as well. Like you have to put it, like he's one of the best general defenders that we've actually ever seen. And as you said, you mentioned previous times, it's like the best thing that could have happened to him was the Billy Frampton. Like he just got neutral, he got pushed out of it, and he just knows, like, I cannot ever let that happen again. He just dictates games. He can just put a full stop on him. He's like, boys, don't worry about it. I want you guys to push up forward of the footy. I'll just patrol here, take a mark, reset, and then we go again. But
Yeah.
it really started to open up, as you did say. It was lightning fast. Some of Will Ashcroft's kicks live, the inside 50s that he just doesn't miss targets. He just does not miss a target. So I thought he really started to come to light. And Jasper Fletcher just started to push the ball, didn't he? He just started to get it.
So right here, Jasper Fletcher was the one. While the pressure from both teams was fucked, he handled it so well. He was finding himself on the outside getting handball receives, and he just handled the pressure so well. He had 14 in the first half. He had 8 in the second quarter. He was just, rewatching it back today, I'm like, this bloke's a gun. And if you have a couple of beers, Jasper Fletcher, Levi Ashcroft, and Will Ashcroft, they can merge into one at the ground. But you go when you're behind the goal, nah. But when you go watch it back, you're like, nah, this kid's fucked. And we got a couple of DMs saying people were live betting him at halftime at 81-1 to win the medal. I'm like, when I rewatched today, I'm like, that is a good bet. I would have loved to be on that. Kane Corn says at the end of the game he thinks Jasper Fletcher wins it. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, Josh Jenkins tweeted, and I screenshotted this tweet. Give me 2 secs. Jasper Fletcher is the perfect player. He's athletic, has size and range, toughness, a beautiful kick, and effortlessly covers the ground and defends. Looks a captain at some point. Like it just he jumps out is like the eye test. You just see it, don't you? You just see a footballer in him, nails it. He's now a 2-time premiership player at the age of, I think he's 20, isn't he?
Yeah. So did you think as well, we said last week, how iconic the number 3 Brisbane jerseys. I just think the Brisbane jerseys by far, it's the best jersey in the game. It just reminds me of just winning, success. And do you think that he just, I'm not sure what he usually trots out there with, but he went with the bright yellow boots yesterday, Jev, and he thought he's like, I actually might sting a few votes here, and he definitely didn't do himself any harm. I thought he played fucking amazing. I wasn't sure, we'll get into the Norm Smith later, I wasn't sure that the votes were going to be that heavily split, but I want to get into, so let's start off in the second half, Jev, and this is where I'll really get into the first roast. So to Chris Scott, if you're going to get a sub, if you're going to have a sub in your side, make sure that you get him right and make sure you get him off at the right time. So they end up subbing Reece Stanley at some stage in the game, and Jeremy Cameron has a broken fucking arm. So you end up bringing him on way too late. You got Jack Martin that comes on as your sub to Impact, which was too late in the last quarter, Jev. Their sub came on and had 1 disposal, 1 kick. While Fagan was able to pull the trigger at halftime, Sam Marshall, Jev, you don't know who he is. Most people don't know who he is. Only played a handful of games. He, young fella, it's all right. You've gone in there. You've had a crack. You've been all right the last few weeks. I'm going to take you out, and we're just going to put a fresh Lockie Neal on. 17 disposals, 7 clearances, 7 score involvements, and 2 goal assists, and a goal himself. Watching that live, that second half was wild, amazing. But rewatching it back, I wouldn't have been surprised if he polled a vote in the Norm Smith. Like, just if someone gave him one. His game was unbelievable. Like, incredible. Everything that he does is Mickey Mouse. It's clean. It's to the point. His clearances actually come and create such big scores of it. They're never dump kicks. They go, he makes something happen. And I want to touch on a play, but I'll let you go first.
The way he moves at the ground when you're there live, especially when you're sitting level 1, you're sort of like in line with him. I said it last year against the Swans. I'm like, I can't believe how well he moves. And then again this year, he came on. Just being there live. We were speaking to our mate today. Some of our mates like, I would have given him I would have stuck him in for 1 Norm Smith vote. Like, he came on and he played the perfect 2 quarters of footy. What a player. Yep. He's played 3 quarters in 56 days, in 8 weeks. And he came on and just played like that, like he didn't miss a beat. They nailed it. Everything they did just nailed. They nailed his program. He apparently was sleeping. He said after the game on Channel 7, he's borderline been sleeping in the hyperbaric chamber. He hadn't seen his kids or anything. His missus has been handling everything. He's just been sleeping in a sauna, an ice bath, or a chamber, rehabbing. Nailed it. He looked Mickey Mouse, absolutely perfect, does. Wrote down here, there was another Harris Andrews out there. There's a second Harris Andrews. Connor O'Sullivan, when he's about 30 years old and he's played for 10 years, will be unstoppable. how I reckon he is going to be anything Das. Like, he looks the same. He's a little lean at the moment, but he catches himself on Kai Lohman, then he catches himself on Logan Morris, then he catches himself on here, and he can beat them all. He made a few, like, silly rookie mistakes yesterday, like, no, a couple, but he was also really good. Like, I just like him. I like the look of him. The way they've thrown him in, he's a key defender, and you're like, imagine him when he's 29 years old. He's played 200 games, Das. He's going to be a good player. And just a joke I heard today that I'm sort of jumping on the back of yours, Das. Just a bit of a joke. What's worse than a Coleman medalist with a broken arm?
What's that?
Reece Stanley. They've chosen to leave Jez Cameron on when his arm's dangling like this and gone, Stanners, come here, brother. We would rather Jez on one arm, broken arm, when his thing is marking and kicking, than having Reece Stanley on the field for another minute. He must have been having a shocker, Das.
Yeah, they got it wrong. I think he only finished with the 6 touches. But, yeah, that's such a good point. I just couldn't believe it. Like, you just can't have got that so wrong. But at the game, again, just of your man, Connor O'Sullivan, I know he didn't make many mistakes, but this is one. So it's crazy to think that Geelong were up by a point, like halfway through the third. But then Connor O'Sullivan had it on the far wing. There was about a minute to go. He just had to hit an easy inboard handball to Bailey Smith. Went over his head, 50-50 ball. Dane Zorko comes off his man, gets it, handball over to Lachie Neale, and then he has his clutch moment. He has his grand final moment, kicks the goal, and then that is where the floodgates just fucking went open. But that moment right there, it was a 50-50 ball. Bailey was sort of watching the ball go over his head, and Zorko's just come off his man and said, I've got this. See ya.
Yeah, so just before that, there's the Jeremy Cameron, Jasper Fletcher moment in the third quarter. Jez tackles Jasper Fletcher with the one hand on the wing. If you rewatch it today, Jasper Fletcher just starts running and he just keeps running and Jez is sort of just corralling like he's about to kick it. And then Jasper Fletcher decides, nah, I'm going to turn the penalty. I'm not going to kick this. And Jez puts on an effort and he's done for all money. Grimaces and he just grabs the jumper and just pulls him down. That turned into a max home goal. It put Geelong up 44-43 with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. And you're like, oh, that could be the moment. Like, there's the moment right there. And then from there, Brisbane, and it wasn't until about 4 minutes to go, the quarter ends at 63-44. They kick 4 goals in that last 5 minutes, basically.
Crazy.
And just another one right down. The Lions are going to have a hard time. And I know he basically got concussed yesterday. They're going to have a hard time letting Brandon Starcevich walk out the door, Das.
Yeah,
he had the Norm Smith one on his head in 2023 on Bobby Hill, basically won the Norm Smith on Brandon Starcevich. Similar how we talk about Harris Andrews. Then he absolutely bathed Tom Papley in the 2024 grand final, like cooked him. And just, they got around him so much because he was so good in the 2024 grand final. Then he absolutely dominated, bubble bathed, squeaky cleaned Pat Dangerfield yesterday, like bathed him. And Darcy Gardner looks like he works for Jim's Mowing, Das. He looks like he owns his own Jim's Mowing franchise in Beaujeu Lawn.
The weed eater.
He absolutely, unequivocally beat Jeremy Cameron for 6 quarters in a row. From quarter time of the first final till 3/4 time of the grand final and the last quarter, 7 quarters in a row. He beat Jeremy Cameron every single quarter, 10-8 rounds. 10-8 rounds like they in UFC. He smashed him. Jeremy Cameron had 0 impact on that game. And even before he broke his arm right in the stroke at halftime, you wouldn't even know he was playing. He did bugger all. Starcevich made Pat Dangerfield look like he did bugger all. Like, they fucking got him. It's these guys. It's not letting Frampton beat Harris Andrews, and then it's your Starceviches and your Darcy Gardners, your pawns on the board, beating the king and queen, basically. And it was so impressive.
So we said, and it almost proves our point right, we said the LeBron theory. If you could have one player for one game, Jev, for one game for your life, we'd usually say LeBron. We said the same with Danger. If you could have one player for one game, and that was Dangerfield. But he just did it the week before.
He did it before, and Lee Matthews.
That's it. Like, you can't do it 2 weeks in a row. That's what we said. He's like, we need him for one game. And he fucking did it all on prelim final weekend. And then Lee Matthews said all week, he's like, he was fantastic, not taking anything away from Patrick, but he won't be able to do a grand final day. He's like, I know.
Yeah.
35, he's too old. He's like, the way that he plays, he won't be able to back that up. He was the only one saying it. And they're like, oh, nah, Danger's going to lead him out. He's like, look, I'm telling you, he won't be able to do it. You wouldn't even know that he was out there. You would not know that Dangerfield was out. He didn't. It's like he used up all his tickets. He wanted to go back on the Cyclone at the St. John Vianney's Fair, but he didn't have any more tickets, Jev. He couldn't go on anymore. He just couldn't go. He didn't have anything left. Brisbane was so tough, so clean. There's a few times in the middle where it's like Ashcroft would get it on the ground, straight up to Jasper Fletcher, off to Lockie Neal, and then they're off. They're just so clean. So that was the third quarter, and then let's get into the last. So how many goals was it?
No, so they're up 63-44. They've got the momentum. First centre bounce of the fourth quarter. Cam Rayner comes off the line and absolutely crunches Mark Blitzarves. Fucking crunched him, holding the ball, advantage play on Charlie Cameron, top of the goal square goal. I think he kicks his third, I think that was his third, maybe his fourth. And that was the sealer. Game over. That was the moment, and Cam Rayner had been quiet. He comes off and just crunches Blitzarves, and you're like, there it is, game over. They've just won the grand final from that tackle. It's like you go back and watch that game. It's like you imagine. You remember Mark Lacroix, and he's got that TikTok video when he's like 5 goals down in the grand final. You can't know what happened next. I could see Cam Rayner make one like hadn't had a touch all day. Comes off the line, crunch. Mark Blitzarves doesn't see me coming. He demolished him. It was just like, when I rewatched, because I remember it yesterday, and then I rewatched today, I'm like, it was so much bigger. And that's why you got to watch with commentary, because you do miss little things at the ground. Like Lockie Neal's goal yesterday, we knew how big of a moment that was. And you're like, I can't wait to go watch that on the TV. But just the commentators, they kept coming back to it, everything.
Did you watch Dwayne Russell? He got lost for words, I reckon. He got lost for words because I watched the KO one. He's like, Lockie Neal, the superstar. He just didn't know what to say. It was so good.
I don't know how.
You could just tell.
They had to go back. So I watched Channel 7 today because I wanted to hear Kane and JB and BT, and I want to see Bruce and everything. So I went back and watched Channel 7's on 7+. They weren't allowed to record their commentary till 6 o'clock at night. So they all watched the game. Then they went into the Fox Sports studio and recorded their commentary. They weren't allowed to do it live at the ground. So he knew that moment was coming.
Do you reckon there was any part of Dwayne, though, that didn't want to watch? He didn't watch the game?
He just watched first time. Maybe. Dwayne is the sort of guy, if that is true, that is
that's
awesome.
what it sounded like. It sounded like he was lost for, like, he didn't know what to do. It honestly sounded like he hadn't watched the game, and he was just watching it in real time. So yeah, that moment. But what tackle was bigger? Was it that on Blitzarves or one of his next two on Bailey Smith?
He got Bailey Smith. Oh,
is that the best playing football? Is that what they have to do? You know, tap it backwards, almost to the opposition sweeper, like a Bailey Smith, and we just get come off the line. Come off the line. They've got the ball. They've got no idea what's behind him. And as when he tackles and almost puts his feet out in front, so he gets him down safely. Yep. But it must.
When his body hits your body, Bailey Smith was so shattered at that tackle. Oh, so big. So I got written here, Dust. 15 minutes ago, fourth quarter, Geelong flinch, Geelong fold their cards. They drop the tag on Hugh McCluggage. They send Oyson Mullen down to Charlie Cameron on the goal square because Charlie Cameron's been running wild. They drop the tag. And McCluggage, from that moment with 15 minutes to go, he has 12 touches and kicks 3 goals in the fourth quarter. They folded, they flinched, however you want to call it, they shit themselves. Chris Fagan coached the absolute jocks off of Chris Scott yesterday. Gave him a bubble bath. Coach's box, however you want to say it. On the ground, players, whatever you want to say. Chris Fagan gave Chris Scott belt to ass. He just got him. Every way, every which way. However you want to say it, does, he fucking got him. I'm sure Chris Scott would say the same thing. He had a mare, Chris Scott.
How funny is the narrative throughout the week, how it's like every team's going to have taggers now, and like you have to have these no-name taggers. Yeah, but you know what you also need? You need a fuck ton of talent. You need a fuck ton of talent.
I've got all this stuff written down. I can't wait to talk to you about,
In the biggest games, O'Connor, what's he going to do? Like, Oyster Mullen kicked a goal early, but even he looked awkward trying to kick the goal. Like, he's like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. You've got these other guys that won't play a defensive role. Bailey Smith, watching back of the tape. This goes up to a little bit further. So you've got, how much longer in the game? I had it written down. I think, no, so this is a Will Ashcroft goal. Pretty sure there's 15 minutes to go. 4 taps it straight down to Lockie Neal. Bailey Smith gets ball watching and then gets caught into Lockie Neal. Handball over the top. As we said, if you give Will Ashcroft half a second, it's too long. He kicks a snap from like 45 that clears the line. But that's it. And then it's party time. They're all lining up. Those
goals came quick. They came quick. Hughes, Lohman, Ashcroft, Ty Garlab had his shot, he missed. They came like a tsunami. We've said it for a couple of weeks now. The Lions are the best team in the league at turning a 20-point margin into a 40-point margin because of the kicking and everything. And it came quick yesterday. Yeah, man. Rewatch it now. You look at they kick goal, you look at your phone for 2 seconds, bang, they kick another. Like, holy shit. It was so impressive.
Go back and it's amazing once Hugh, you could see the shackles were off, or as you say in the NFL, like unhook the trailer. He was going, and the boys were getting around him. So he came out to the group, apparently, we've been told, and the narrative around that Hugh McCluggage can be tagged. He's a tagged player. If you put time into him, apparently he sat the group down and said, boys, I don't want this to be part of my narrative, and I need your help. So I'm going to come out the next few weeks, and I'm going to need your help to help get me over the line. And everyone's like, yep, let's go. Had a fucking, 37-1 against Gold Coast. Dominated again in the prelim. And then he just had a monster game.
Came out, he kicked 4 grand final days of midfielder getting tagged.
He probably didn't get what he wanted as much early, but that was the same in the other grand final. Like, he works in flurries. Like, I think he had 9 goals, 1 in the first quarter against the Swans, and then didn't really get near as much after that. So he put it on the board to the players. I want to get over the line. And you can see when he's running it, maybe it's his 3rd or 4th, and he takes it from the middle, takes a bounce, no one's calling for it. Everyone's shepherding, and they're like, go. And you can see how much it meant to him. You can see how much it meant to him. But when you see, even when he kicks, I think it's his 4th goal, it was at the set shot on the pocket. You watch when they get it, they chip. Will Ashcroft gets it, and there's like a spider cam view. There is 3 Geelong defenders, and Hughes just standing in the middle of them. And he's just like, and Will Ashcroft just sits it over 3 of their heads and just kicks it to him. I actually don't know how the ball got there. I actually do not know how the ball gets there. So we may as well get on to Will unless you want to talk to something else. Some of his field kicking, he played Charlie Cameron into form. He's kicking him into the spots where Charlie's popping out. He's like, holy fuck, there's the ball. He's like a gun quarterback and just giving it to the receivers, kicking it out in front. I thought his inside 50s were unbelievable. Now, I've had the take, Jev. I've said, are the Brisbane Lions a Will Ashcroft away from winning a 3-peat? Well, I've got a new one. Are the Lions Will Ashcroft away from winning 4 in a row? Because that's the new take. Like, I think that they're going to run it back and they're going to go again. How important is this guy? Like, he obviously does his ACL, misses out on that season, and then they lose a 23 grand final. He's only played 58 games. So going off his finals, he's averaging 26 and almost a goal a game. That's what he's averaging. His last 3 finals, so his finals this year, he had 30 against Geelong when they lost. He had 28-2 against Gold Coast. He had 20-2 against Collingwood, where it felt like his 20 touches were absolute gold. And then yesterday he had 32-1. And again, a lot of complimentary pieces from his teammates as well. But what a fucking stud. What a player. Like, watching him, he just moves with confidence. I think my favourite bit of the grand final, 2 minutes to go, he gets it on the wing and just holds the ball up to the crowd. That is like, it actually gave me goosebumps. It gave me like, he just held up to the crowd and he just starts smiling. He's like,
just seeing him do it, you're like, that is awesome. And just, because it's the hair and stuff, like everything you see when Kyle Lohman kicked that goal in the 4th and he started doing his strut, like Will Ashcroft is right there and he doesn't impose on himself, but he's just smiling. He's like, so Dust, like, I reckon you can basically say it because we're about to watch it. For the next 10 years, Ashcroft versus Dacos is going to be modern day Gary Ablett versus Dustin Martin. Whereas one of them is like week to week, game to game, stats, numbers, everything. That's Gary Ablett. That's Nick Dacos. Like, we know how good he is every single week at his absolute best. Best in the comp. But big games, big moments, Norm Smith medals, prelim finals, whenever you need it just to win a game, down from behind, Dustin Martin, Will Ashcroft. We're going to watch for the next 10 years, Das, knowing it's basically going to be modern day Gary Ablett versus Dustin Martin.
Yeah, no, it's a great call. I love it. I love it. I mean, you know what you see with these players, like who's an example? Like, not so much Zach Bailey, but he's like, hey, he was missing a lot yesterday. And like, you get players that's like, oh, he just didn't grab his chance. When do you see him fuck up? Will. Like, when do you see, like, he has a shot on goal, he gets it. He has a kick inside 50. Someone marks it. Like, there's a clearance to be there. There's a ball to be won. He gets it straight to a teammate. Like, as I said, I honestly thought that they could have raffled up that Norm Smith to anyone. I was hoping Will won it. I was invested in him. I love him. So I was like, I thought he did enough up into the first 3.5 quarters. And then when Hugh kicked the last 3, I'm like, he's kicked 4. Like, I wouldn't have cared if he won it. But is there a thing? I think he only got 1 vote. Do they still put their votes in with 6 minutes to go? 7 minutes to go?
No.
Remember when they used to do that?
Yeah, I do. I do remember that.
Hugh only got 1 vote. That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, do you reckon they've mailed it in? Hodges had to come
3
down.
after that, yeah. Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if, as I said, rewatching
with modern day technology and stuff, it's pretty easy to do it after the siren.
Yeah.
When all the chips there. Anyway, maybe they thought Hugh, because he piled on goals and he turned the 40-point margin into a 60-point margin for Geelong, kicked a couple back the other way. Maybe they thought the other players got it done when it was in the thing. So I got a heap of questions without notice. Don't know if you've written any down. So a pub debate we had last night, and the answer doesn't offend me, but we were asking all mutual supporters that were at the game, mates, as some of our mates. I'll go to you at Carlton next year. Who would you rather at Carlton next year? Zach Bailey or Errol Goulden? I think it's a 100% fair question, and it's up to you, your choice.
Yeah, so previously you would have said Errol. I just think because of his damage on outside, and it looked like that Zach Bailey was a bit of a one-trick pony, but I'm 100% taking Zach Bailey. Big game moments. We know he's done it. I know he kicked 3 goals, 6 yesterday, but the reason why I'm taking him, you're not just taking him as a forward. The games that Lachie Neale was out, he was one of the more dominant, eye-catching, game-breaking mids that they had in that side. Yep. There was a must-win game when they went over to Fremantle, and he went in the midfield, if anyone remember, I think maybe around 2021, and he broke the game open. He's an explosive midfielder, and don't be surprised with a few of the guys getting a little bit older that this is maybe his role more full-time. We saw Lachie Neale, maybe we preserve him, and we play him as a sub every week. Hey, let's just get you as a 2-quarter player. Why not? Why can't you play 2 quarters a week? How good would that be? So I would take Zach Bailey. I'm not sure where you sit on it. But again, and this is why we talk about, say about Zach Merritt. You get a lot of the Essendon fans, it's like, fuck you. No, you better stay. You better stay. Be loyal. Your reputation, unfortunately, gets measured on where were you in the biggest moments. And if Zach Merritt never, ever gets to play in a grand final, never gets to play big finals, unfortunately, we will say in 10 years, Zach Merritt was a nice player. Yeah. Zach Merritt was a nice player. If I talk to you in 10 years, what was Will Ashcroft like, Jev? What are you going to say?
An absolute dog in the biggest stage. Yeah. Took his moments, everything. 100%.
I don't feel you can blame players for wanting to move. Can you imagine? I know a lot of players didn't want to go because they all get tickets. Don't want to go to the grand final because, like, fuck that, I'm not in it. And then we see a lot of other players, like Jake Waterman, these guys, and they're sitting there because he only just
he was loving it. What we had Jake Morton, he was absolutely loving the game. So this is awesome.
And like you can imagine for players, it's like, this is where I want to be. I want to be here when there's 100,000 there. So I don't blame them for player movement. But yeah, I'd go Zach. What about you?
Or is it I'll go Errol. Yeah, I'll go Errol. But like, I don't find it a disrespectful question at all. How impressive? How much did the All-Australian selectors nail it? They sort of, I don't know if they took a risk, but having Zach Bailey at the half-forward line, they put Hugh McCluggage in the side as well. Like, they nailed the All-Australian in that way as well. Another question without notice. Do you reckon if you play a team in that first final, you show all your cards? Like, you give them the whole book. So, Geelong, Brisbane, first final, that was basically a 70-point Geelong win. But first time McCluggage ever got tagged by Usman Mullen. Mark O'Connor goes to Cameron Rayner. That was a shock on the night. Tom Atkins sort of did a job on Lachie Neale, and you're like, oh, well, he's probably going to do a job on Will Ashcroft this time. They played all their cards. So now Brisbane, yes, they've been playing, but they got to train this week knowing what was coming, knowing what they've already seen. And if you're Geelong, you're like, well, it worked once, it's going to work again. Like, we don't need to change anything. We just beat them by 70 points, basically. And then so Brisbane got to just train, and then they've just pantsed them, and you're like, I wonder if that first final, you just go, righto, your best versus my best, no tricky game plan. We're just going to play footy, and whoever's better wins. And then imagine grand final day came around and Geelong had already beaten the Lions, and then Oyston goes to McCluggage, and then O'Connor goes to Cam Rayner. And it's that first time they copped it was on grand final day yesterday. They would have been stunned. They would have been absolutely shocked. So, like, I'm just thinking, like, I wonder if they showed too many cards too early, the Cats. I know Tom Stewart not playing is a part of this as well, but, like, it was just sort of like, I reckon they showed their cards a bit, and it's like Brisbane trained and knew exactly what was coming, how we freeing up McCluggage, how we, helping out Cam Rayner, or what can Cam Rayner do different. He had his big tackle moments, he kicked his goal, and you're like, yeah, I was thinking today, I'm like, how can you go from so it was 48-point margin, but it was basically 70 points. But then yesterday, the Lions win by 47 points, and it was basically 70 points as well. They let Geelong kick a couple of crunch time goals. So it's just, yeah. You agree?
Yes, I do definitely agree. And I think everyone just saw the Geelong win in the prelim, in the first final, and they're like, yeah, they're the team to beat. Does anyone not remember what Brisbane did to them on their home patch? Earlier on the year. And this is what we were talking about. And I felt it had such the same vibe of when Brisbane went down to Geelong and pants them, it was Danger's 350th. They were happy. They felt loose.
The past player was there all drinking skewies at functions. They didn't even consider losing that day.
Nah. And then they got their pants pulled down. And then they got the week off. They had another dominant performance against the Hawks. We're back. Dangerfield just played an awesome game. We're here. And I know that you talk about the smilers and the butt clenchers, but you look at them at the Brownlow. It felt like that they already in my mind. Genuinely felt like that they already won the grand final. Danger's doing every interview under the sun, and you look at. I know Brisbane had their own little Brownlow count by themselves, but every time the cameras come around, everyone just they couldn't wait to get out there and go home and just go to bed. And I just felt they've had the perfect prep. But as you said, I do agree. You just want to hold some cards up your sleeves, which is very not Chris Scott. And look, you can't bash him for them going out and just having to play the perfect game and just absolutely nailing it. But when you have to bring it again and again, we've seen this. This is their third grand final in a row, and they've been up near the top probably the last 6 to 7 years. I think the minor premiers 2 of the years will finish second, but went out in straight sets. This is a team that's been there and have absolute belief. And then when they look at the board before the game, it's like, this is what we got to do. Let's go. Yeah. And their attack on the contest when they have to is unbelievable. So, yeah, I agree. I just think, there has to be a fine line of getting it right. But it's like, if we do get there, we've got this, we're going to hold on to it, and then bang, we go all in.
Have 1 or 2 cards up your sleeve. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, knowing Geelong, so finally the Swans aren't the most recent choke job on the MCG. It's now Geelong. Like, knowing how much Geelong dogged it, choked, an all-time bottle job yesterday, going back and watching the grand final parade and the way they run out and national anthem and Chris Scott's pre-game interviews and everything, they thought they had the game won. I think the way Jez on Toby Green Tuesdays this week, he was so confident, and they were talking about the crack the beer cellar. You got another one this year. What are you doing afterwards? You're going to lose your medal on your cow again. All this stuff. Danger's going to be a premiership captain, and Joel Selwood's going to hand him the cup. I think they genuinely thought they had the game won, whereas the Lions just came down, little old us. Give us a pair of Rixies each. We'll get on the float on the back. Sunny's on. Let's go. The grand final curse. We don't care about that. They just embraced the whole week. We've been here before. Pantsed them. They embarrassed Geelong. Geelong embarrassed themselves, and they embarrassed Geelong. Got them. Got them so bad.
Can we talk about the curse? And Dangerfield was going to be the guy that lets go first and say, fuck this, mate. Fuck you. Hey, how about that? The curse come and pull your pants down.
If he makes it next year, I bet you he'll hold on to that damn thing. He will hold the fuck. There's 100%. A clip on Twitter at the moment. It's about Chris Scott yesterday. Friday at his press conference. and just how confident he was. And then him in his press conference last night after the game. And then on Friday, he's like, this is the best position we've ever been in to win a premiership. Team's fit, all this. And then after the game, he's like, a lot of things went on behind the scenes. I'm not going to get into. It's actually unbelievable we made it here today. You're like, fuck up, cunt. Shut up, idiot.
He loves
you fucking dogged it. You got your pants pulled down by Chris Fagan. You fucking dogged it.
He fucking loves it.
Another one. All warts come out prelim final weekend, does. All warts come out grand final day. Ollie Florent became a twos player at the Swans because of his grand final performance last year, does.
Yeah.
You got to go. You start going through lists like with a fine tooth comb. You got to ask the questions. I'm just going to ask the questions. Can you play Tom Atkins and Oyson Mullen in the same team? Like,
no.
What is Oyson Mullen? Is he taken to footy as fast as they wanted to, or is he just a good tagger, like a really good athlete who can tag and run with guys? Because he kicked his goal yesterday and it looked awkward and then as soon as it's like, all right, drop the tag, you're like, we can't hide this bloke anywhere. So can you like Tom Atkins is a fine player. I got in trouble for leaving Tom Atkins off my top 10 list, ass. If I did my top 25 list from yesterday, Tom Atkins still isn't on that fucking list. Like, he's fine. Tom Atkins is fine. There's a reason he played about 700 VFL games. He's a good footballer. But you can't play Tom Atkins and Oyson Mullen in the same team next year, can you?
No. So I like that for a one-off game, as you said, and if he's just going to only lock down, but it's exactly what you said. You can't hide something out there. You can't hide somewhere out on grand final day at the MCG. Yeah. If you're looking at someone like, if we're actually talking about a tag or someone that can damage, that's when you're talking about a Josh Dunkley. You got some guy that's got a lot of tricks, a lot of strings to his bow. He can be defensive. He can play offensively. He can get you at a stoppage. He's got great midfield craft, awesome hands, good by foot. Oyson Mullen's going to run with you and just try and tell you a couple of Irish jokes.
And then he had 5 touches. 5 touches for the day. So next one, Shannon Neal, just a player. He's just a guy.
Yeah,
he's just a guy. He's young. It's key forwards. It's hard. He got 2 baths from Harris Andrews. Walked off with a goal. 5 touches as well yesterday. Does had no impact on the game. Is Tyson Stengel going to have the biggest preseason of his career?
Yeah,
he looked petrified on the field yesterday. Horrible. He was so good against the Swans in 2022. He nearly could have won 9. I think he kicked 5 that day, didn't he? Or kicked 4. I've never rewatched the game. He looked nowhere near it. Unless he's either got to look at retiring or going, I need to fucking get myself into shape. So, thoughts on the last 2?
They're actually going to have to target another key forward because once Jez eventually goes, he's nowhere in the Jez stratosphere. You know what he's like a Todd Marshall, like a Peter Wright, like you know what I mean? Like, they'll kick you goals, but he's not going to be a
Jack Darling to Josh Kennedy.
Yeah, just exactly. Like he's not going to be absolute blue chipper. So they're definitely going to have to find another one. Obviously, that's why they're probably going to try and go after Charlie. And as far as Stengel, again, sometimes the rub of the green, you don't get it all, but again, it's about effort. And you look at the effort, the amount of times, like Kyle Lohman didn't have his best final series, but he had his moments. Like he went in, ended up kicking his 2 goals yesterday. He actually got off the ground. What do you have? 17, I think, and 17 the week before. So just trying to get yourself up. Yeah. I'll tell you exactly what. You look at Zach Bailey, I think it's in the second quarter. In the second quarter, he comes up to there's a stoppage on the half back line, and he's just there by himself. No one on him. Gets the clearance, takes 2 or 3 bounces, kick it forward, just to try and get himself open into the game. While you've got these other guys, the forward, they're happy to be a crummer the whole time. Go watch Zach Bailey. Every forward should be looking at exactly what Zach Bailey does, how he gets so much space. He had 9 shots on goal in a grand final. We watched one in the first quarter. We're like, this is only going to Zach here. Sprints in, no one on him, had a good look, missed. And we're just like, who's on him?
There's a goal in the last quarter. I think it's either Ashcroft's or McCluggage's, and they're on that right side of the ground. And the Sky Cam is over the top of them. They showed the replay. And if they wanted to pass it, Zach Bailey didn't have a player within 50 metres of him inside the forward 50. I'm like, he's kicked 3 goals, 6 for the day. If they gave it off to him, he would have had 4 goals, 6, 10 scoring shots. Could have kicked 10 goals. I bet you Chris Scott will never give Zach Bailey that much bloody freedom again. That could have been ugly. So I'm still going through Geelong's list. Jai Clark and Jack Bowes, bang on average role players.
Yep.
Bang on average. Nothing special about them at all. Agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Like
100%.
this all comes out. So Dempsey, Manor, Myers, I love. Dempsey, Manor, and Myers, I love. Not going to criticise them. Smith and Holmes aren't tough enough. Bailey Smith and Max Holmes aren't tough enough. They need danger bad, and it's no wonder they had about 11 meetings with Matt Rao throughout the year, the Cats, and then he signed at Gold Coast because they know when danger goes, they need Matt Rao. Smith and Holmes, it's beautiful when they're up by... This is the Heaney-Warner-Goulden argument. When they're playing the beautiful game and they're up by 40 points, they are beautiful. But when it's grand final day and it's Lockie Neal and it's fucking Josh Dunkley who's as tough as fuck and these blokes are clearance gods, they got... Like, Max Holmes had a good stats day. Charlie Cameron kicked 2 on him. Got a lot of the ball. He was taking kickouts though. Bailey Smith was fine. You look back and you're like, geez, I'd take Ashcroft, Neal, like who else? Fletcher. I'd take all these guys. So, they definitely want danger to keep playing.
How good are...
When you make Zach...
Yeah, go.
You go.
No, you go.
When you make Zach Guthrie and Lawson Humphreys actually defend, and they need to defend like their life depends on it, they got found out. They got found out bad. So Cameron kicked 4, Loman kicked a couple, Bailey had all his shots. They were getting lost, and they folded like a pack of cards, Zach Guthrie and Lawson Humphrey. But you look at Darcy Gardner, Ryan Lester, Starcevic, how hard they defend, like their lives are on the line. They do not give their opponents an inch, like they defend like it means something, like there's a premiership medal on the end. Gardner didn't win the one last year. You saw how much it meant to him yesterday. Same as Oscar. I'm like, everyone says Geelong have the perfect list. You watch that grand final, I'm looking at him going, geez, is Tom Stewart that good that he makes Lawson Humphrey and fucking Zach Guthrie look like these good players? Because they got bathed yesterday, Das.
Yeah, they did. It's when you look at just exactly how the team's made up and you put them head to head now, you're just like, Brisbane is just so much tougher. And then you go back and look at some of their losses. It's like how Brisbane got smacked by Gold Coast by 11 goals. You're like, how the fuck did that happen? They had their full side in. They just had a mulligan on the day.
They just got beaten up that day.
There's something about, and we've spoken about a few times today, but just about how they played the perfect game and let's just, like in an arm wrestle, let's keep where we want it. Let's not let anything get too out of control. And then when we get our chance, let's fucking lay the haymaker. Let's lay down the punch and then we go. And obviously putting Lockie Neal in. But there's something about, it's almost like if you had to have a free throw in basketball, Jev, and then you have to go have another shot in a week's time. Like you're not really going to remember what you got wrong. But the fact that they've been back to 3 grand finals in a row, you just know it felt like, hey, boys, no, we know that we got to keep this pressure on. Remember, we lost in 2023. When we kept it up in 2024, we got it done. And I felt that they just knew in the third quarter, boys, let's just hold on here. We're going to break him. We're going to break. Like, Ben don't break. We'll let him come at us. And as soon as we get our shot, they punch him in the mouth. And Geelong, and again, so many guys hadn't been there before. They're like,
a pack of cards.
We don't know what to do now. We don't know what to do now. It's like, so that's exactly like just consistently being in the moment. And now you've got 10 years worth of experience in about 15 blokes that have only played 2 years of footy. Like forever, they're going to be like, we've played in these games a million times. Like Zach Mount's never played in one of these games. I've got Carlton. Carlton players that would never play in these games. You get just so many teams that haven't been in these moments. These guys have a decade worth of experience in 2 seasons. So again, they're going to be a powerhouse. And again, why wouldn't you want to go play in Brisbane? The weather's nice. They're packing out the stadium now. Seems like an awesome place to go to. And again, it's what happens with good clubs. If you got Chris Fagan, you got a good coaching staff. Obviously, they purge a lot of them because a lot of people get pulled apart because like they obviously want all the assistance. But it sounds like they've got something very, very special there. And a lot of the players are very happy to be there. And again, they've got so many big-time crunch players. Again, a Cam Rayner. He doesn't have to rip the back doors off a game. He can have his moments. But these guys just have to step up when the time's right, and they do every single time.
Yeah, they must be great tape watchers, the Lions. Like really great learners of when they get something wrong, they just know how to pinpoint it and get it right sort of thing. So basically what you said, I've got it written down right here. Another one, Jordan Ridley said he wanted to go to the Lions. Now he's saying he wants to stay at Essendon. Deep, deep down, Jordan Ridley knows if he stays, he's never, ever playing in a grand final for the Bombers. We're going to talk about this more in the offseason. I actually don't think I'm going to see the Bombers win a premiership while I'm alive, Das. They just aren't good enough. They're not run well enough. Just everything about them just isn't right. And so, like, Jordan Ridley's made the call to stay, and he's on the big money. He's asked contract extensions. He knows now he's never going to play in these moments. He could be a premiership player in 12 months today if he decides to go to the Lions next year. If I was him, I'd start rethinking. Watching them yesterday, I'd go, fuck, who gives a fuck about Essendon? Get out. Go win a premiership.
His number one thing was about how they mismanage injuries. They've literally gotten a guy that tore his calf to get him back in a grand final. Like, he was 1%, a 1%
When the Bombers
chance
go down, they stay down.
Like,
yes.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, like as you said, you know what it'd be? If I was Ridley, I'd be looking at the footage of Levi Ashcroft jumping over the fence with Will and being like, I hope to win one day. He's like, in his brain, he has to be thinking, this could be me next year. This could be my reality. Next year, like high end playing finals. Brisbane have had so many injuries this year and they've done so well to get through. We haven't even touched on it. Brucey Rebels,
we'll keep going. Yeah, it's so like just saying that. They got Lachie Neale back off a 2-week calf. Every time an Essendon player gets injured, they stay injured for like 8 weeks, seasons, everything. It's like do you reckon Essendon supporters look at that and just go, oh nah, it's Lachie Neale, like it probably wasn't that bad of a calf? Or do you reckon they go, maybe it's just a fucking mentality thing of like, no, I'm actually not that bad. What do I have to do to get back on the field when I need to get back on the field? Does it mean everything to me to be back out in that field sort of thing? I reckon Bombers players just love getting the paycheck. Once they got the contract, they just love the paycheck coming in. Yeah, so this is a bit of, another one here. This is a bit of my small forward at pick 5 take, Das, all into one. Look at the Lions. They have Lachie Neale, Josh Dunkley, Will Ashcroft, Levi Ashcroft, Jared Berry, Hugh McCluggage, Dane Zorko, Zach Bailey, Cam Rayner, Jasper Fletcher, Darcy Wilmot. There's 11 midfielders there. 8 of them would be in starting mids in every team in the comp probably. I know some of them are halfbacks and stuff. But like Brisbane are showing you, keep drafting mids. Keep getting mids in the door and then give them more strings to their bow. Cameron came in as a mid. He's played a heap of forward. When he goes in the midfield, he has his moments, but now he's a borderline All-Australian forward. Zach Bailey the same. Zach Bailey's a midfielder, but can't fit into that midfield at all times. So he became an All-Australian half forward. Jasper Fletcher, Darcy Wilmot, they'll be midfielders right now, but they'll be midfielders one day. Right now, they're just All-Australian caliber halfbacks. They're showing you, get these mids, talented guys in the door, and then teach them other strings to their bow. And like, yeah.
What do you reckon the best split is for Cam Rayner? Like McCreary, like
no, I just reckon
center stoppage.
Let
and
him
then go
do what he
forward.
wants. Yeah, I think he just starts half forward, go up to stoppages, destroy a bloke, go down to the goal square, ragdoll a bloke. Like as long as he's doing his defensive work and all that stuff, but just like let him do what he wants. Yeah. So but if I look like I just wrote down Carlton. If I look at Carlton, it can't be Cripps, Chera, Hewitt, who are borderline the same player 3 times. Draft guys that are different. So Zach Bailey's skills and class, Cam Rayner's body, Jasper Fletcher's kicking, Will Ashcroft is just a Lachie Neale clone. Josh Dunkley's like physicality and his competitiveness, his defensive work. Like get all these mids. It's why I only thought of this while we started recording. It's why maybe North Melbourne one day. It might click for North Melbourne because they've just got multiple high-end midfielders in the door. And it's like maybe in 3 years, because they've got another draft pick this year. Well, they've lost their first, but they're going to be crap again. And then all of a sudden, one day they'll start becoming good and you go, Jesus Christ, they've got, how many? They've got 8 guys in the top 5 picks out in the field right now. Where like they've got Hugh McCluggage, pick 2. Cam Rayner, pick 1. Will Ashcroft, pick 1, basically. Levi Ashcroft was a top 5 pick as well. So it's just one of those things, like just draft mids, get him in the door. That's like a part of my you don't take a small forward to pick 5. I understand that draft, we go that draft exactly, you're like, well, he was the best player available. That's Nick Watson is a star. But it's like you just get mids in the door. That's my personal opinion.
No, I'm with you. Like, especially when you're trying to top up. But again, if the Wiz is there, you take the Wiz. But I want to chat about, I'm not sure how many players different there were from this grand final to the last. I think, did Brisbane have like 7 different players that won their first grand final?
Yeah,
6
I've got
or 7?
the screenshot as well.
Because then talk about the experience in your group. It's not just the same 22. It's like, all these guys have won a flag. It's like, no, now we've got like 33 people at the club have now won a flag. So do you have it?
So next year into the Lions side, Kitty Coleman, who we haven't seen since the 2023 grand final.
Yeah.
Noah Answorth won last year's grand final. Jack Payne won last year's grand final.
Do they?
Oscar Allen's coming in. Sam Draper's coming in. Jared Berry didn't play. Lincoln McCarthy didn't play. Eric Hipwood didn't play. They're drafting this Daniel Annabelle's kid, who's a top 10 pick. They're getting him father-son or academy or something. They love. They're excited about. It's like, man, they've got guys. How they fit in all these guys? Duday isn't playing seniors. I like Duday. He's not coming back in.
You mean don't? Yeah, so Archie will probably go to Adelaide, and then Starcevic, whether he takes the money to West Coast. I mean, why wouldn't you? If you won the 2 flags, if you're happy, he's got some concussion problems. It's like, fuck, maybe I just go take a big paycheck and just go make some cash. But I want to quickly chat about Brucey Revel. I actually thought that he didn't just make up the numbers yesterday. I thought he attacked some good content. I'm not sure if you noticed when you rewatched it. There was some moments where he really went at the ball, but they're now 13, or this year, they are 13-1 when he plays. In his career, Jev, the Lions are 23, 2, and a draw.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
He's like 89% when he plays. Like
Brucey.
more, like 97%. He's 23, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
What a player. He just comes on again. And like he might not be in the side next year.
Yeah.
But he's come in, he's done his spot. They've won a grand final. I've actually got some quick odds here.
I've got a few more if you want me to keep going.
Holmes for 30 was 550. Ashcroft for 30 was 230. Jasper Fletcher for 25 was 350. McCluggage for 25 was 250. Charlie Cameron for 4 was $21. Ollie Dempsey for 4 was 11. Hugh McCluggage, we could only get him for 2.
Wow.
He kicked 4. You could only get him for 2 at 850. Zach Bailey kicked 3 goals, 6, but for 3 was $5. Kyle Owen for 2 was $2.35, and both the Ashcroft boys kicked 1 each. They were both $3 a pop.
Levi's goal was awesome. Levi's goal was awesome. The way he just took on the guy in the mark and just slotted. Like, that is a big moment for a rookie. So,
hey, quick, I just want to touch on, do you think, because watching games, I think players do it all the time, the camera moment, the front page of the paper moment. How much do you see when players celebrate, they hold a pose or arms out, like you watch them, they all do it. They do it for the poster moment. They're like,
Lockie
this is going to be on the poster.
Lockie Neal's celebration, Channel 7 have about 17 different angles of it. It is...
He holds it though, doesn't he?
Today.
He holds it.
Okay. Yeah, he holds it. And they took so many photos. So from now until 2035, Das, so the next 10 seasons of AFL, if I was to set the line for the Brisbane Lions at 4.5 prelims played in.
Okay.
Prelim finals, next 10 years, 4.5. You taking the over or the under?
Want us to go right? I might take the under. I'll go 4. It's a lot.
You go 4 in 10 years prelims. I'm going over. I'm going over for prelims. Their 2 key forwards are in year 1 and 2 and 20 and 21. Ashcroft walks in to the year next year as a top 5 player. Levi, Wilmont, Fletcher are all under 22. They are legit going to be good forever. Hugh McCluggage is only like 27.
If you could guarantee me health, yes. I'm only banking off the...
They've just proven you don't need to guarantee them health.
Yeah, I know, but to do it for another 10 years, that's what I'm just saying. You asked me,
prelim,
I'll go 4. I'll go 4.
Prelim appearances. You don't even have to
more.
win them. They just have to be there prelim weekend. You're going under. You're going 4. I'm going over. I'm going 5. So if it was 3.5, you take the over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one. In just completely other news, we have extremely good sourcing that Nathan Buckley absolutely bottled the Melbourne interview. Bottled it, apparently. We heard yesterday. He dogged it. So they brought him in for his head coach interview and he just fucked it. Just cooked it. And he left and they're like,
what was that?
What the hell just happened? Maybe he didn't get why he was coming in. He was a bit confused. He didn't actually get what he was interviewing for. He sort of thought he had the job. I think he came in he's hanging out with mates or something, like he was already the head coach. So anyway, they brought him back in.
Yeah, go. No,
so
go.
They brought him back in a couple of days later, 2 days later. They're like, give your presentation for the head coaching job, sort of thing. And he absolutely bottled it again. He bottled 2 in 2 days. And they're just like, what the hell? The job was his, unless he bottled it. Then Stephen King came in, and apparently Stephen King is so
analytically
analytics, what the camera says. He's got the numbers, and he just impressed them, and they just gave it to Stephen King. Then and there, they're like, Bucks bottled it. Apparently, bottled it.
He went the double goose eggs, and we didn't even mention this. We have to say we place a lot of bets all year, Jev. We place a lot of bets. This is and will be for the rest of my life. We have to get this signed. We have to get a sign with the bet slip. So the halftime sprint. If anyone listens to On Air with Bear, we were chatting about who's the quickest at the club, and he's like, "Oh, Jed." And I'm like, "What?" We actually have to go back. We'll clip it up, and I'm like, "No way." He's like, "Mate, I'm telling you, I've got him probably over 20, and then he's gone." I said, "Really?" He's like, "Mate." He's like a steam truck. Just put the coals on him, and he's just going. Big wheels keep on turning. So we're like, all right. Anyway, he's in the sprint, and Jev says to us, he's like, "Fuck, we should probably get a marker for this." I mean, this is a great thing. We work with PointsBet. We get to come up with markets. A lot don't win, Jev. Let's be honest. A lot don't win. But this was like we almost had the cheat. It's like we've been going down and timing the horses and just being like, this thing's going to fucking shit it in. This thing is going to shit it in. Jev's like, oh, we have to come up with a marker. I'm like, fucking great idea. So anyway, Jev, you message him like, hey, can we get is there a way we can get a marker for this? Most of the time, they'll probably be like, nah, it's not a legit race. Anyway, Jev, what do they come back with?
$7. $7 for Jed Walter.
So we absolutely hammer it. We're sitting there at the game, and I'm sitting the whole bay. I'm just telling people, I'm like, hey, the halftime, Jed Walter is going to steamroll in. They're like, isn't Bo McCreary quick as? And I'm like, they're like, what about Morris Riel? I said, don't worry about Morris. He'll be looking at Jed's cleats. I'm like, I'm telling you. I said, watch Jed Walter run like far lap. And we're all sitting there. You're at the fence. And it honestly felt like, it's like I was betting on the Olympics, but I knew that Usain Bolt, I got Usain Bolt at $7. I just know that he's going to win.
It was like it was fixed. Legit.
Yeah. You watch him start, he gets past halfway, and we are going nuts.
Explodes.
It was.
He won by so far.
Yeah. I genuinely think it's the funnest bet I've ever placed in my life. We've got all these people around us.
I was on the fence. Having a beer with these blokes, and they're like, you know what's going on? I'm like, lads, I've got a heap of money on Jed Walter here. I reckon he's going to win the sprint. And they're like, Jed Walter, Bo McCreary's pretty quick. I'm like, boys, you got anything in your points bet, whatever, just have a bet on Jed Walter. They're like, oh yeah, I got a bonus bet here. Yeah, I got a 20 in there, blah, blah, blah. They're all back in Jed Walter. I got about 12 guys around me on Jed, and he wins, and we're just going off on the fence. I'm like, that is the best tip, the best bet. It's like we had the fix in of no, these blokes are fastest at the Gold Coast. Just because he's 106 kilos, he's a freight train when he gets moving. Oh, he is a gun.
I think, that's by far the funnest bet we've ever placed. Ever. I couldn't have loved that anymore. Watching that come in, just like we just knew it was going to happen. But yeah, that was fucking awesome. It was an awesome day. Went out after. They had the replay on at the Rising Sun Hotel, so I reckon we watched that replay probably fucking 5 times before we went home anyway. And then actually watched it with the commentary this morning. Great game. Again, I just want to be there every year. I want to be there every year. And again, it's like we get the opportunity. And if anyone hasn't been to a grand final, we understand it's pretty pricey. And unless you know someone on the day, it's pretty hard. Or unless you got one of those memberships, but you got to go. It's one of the things you got to be there. You enjoy it. It's even as a mutual. Like I can't imagine what I'd be like if Carlton eventually ever made one. But the only thing I wish, and I hope that us and all of our mates get to watch our teams eventually win a grand final.
Yep.
It'd just be fucking awesome to carry on the whole
week.
week.
The last 2 weekends have been 10 out of 10. Going to both prelims and 4 teams becoming 2, and then going to yesterday as mutuals and just being there, and you're like, oh, it was just perfect. It has to be on your bucket list to beat an AFL grand final. It was so good. Nothing. Tickets, well, it was, if it's say it's Collingwood or it's Carlton, they're going to be more expensive. Let's say tickets are about $1,000 to $1,300 is what you're going to pay. If you get the whiff of your team's going to be pretty good, start saving a little bit of money from round 1. Put $20 aside every week. I wouldn't mind going to the grand final this year. $20 aside, $20 aside, $20 aside. Save up $700 for the AFL season. And then when it gets to grand final day, well, I got that $700 there, so I'm probably willing to pay $1.2K for a ticket. I'll pay another $500 and I'll get there. Just so it doesn't get to grand final day and everyone's like, it's $1,200. Like, oh, I can't afford that. It's like, it is. I just couldn't recommend it more. Before we go, Dust, another one. I remember last year, 360 on the couch. They ripped the Swans to smithereens on tape. They showed tape on Errol, Chad, Heaney, everything. I just want to see the same for Bailey Smith, Jeremy Cameron, Pat Dangerfield, because they fucking dogged it yesterday. They had all-time mares. Pat Dangerfield had 10 touches in the grand final, Dust. 10.
Hey, but we called it. If you get one man for one game, we did call it. We just actually didn't think we're like, fuck, he's ready.
No, but like, he had to be better than that yesterday. Kicked that one out in the full. He got that 1-2 handball, kicked it out in the full. Like, he had a 0 out of 10 game. Jeremy Cameron had a 0 out of 10 game. Bailey Smith was fine. 29 touches, 6 out of 10 game. Got bullied a little bit in the midfield, probably 5 out of 10. Max Holmes was fine. Just make sure you keep the same energy that I heard last year. I just want to make sure they comment. I know Geelong is so protected by the media because they're all Geelong players working in it, and they're champions of the game. Just make sure, or else I'm going to start watching tape and I'm going to make the fucking videos of them. They fucking dogged it. That is the road. You got anything more?
Nah, that's it. I'll just pretty much put a bow on it, guys. Thanks so much for listening every week. We'll be doing some different stuff in the off-season. Again, thanks to everyone who listens and shares, even going to games and stuff yesterday. It's so cool. And random people coming up asking for photos or even just hey, what are you guys getting on? We fucking love it. And again, thanks to everyone listening. Thanks to Morgs for fucking having to stay up and obviously putting all these together every single week when me and you, our autism's ticking and it sometimes comes across oh my God, I can't believe Morgs has to edit this. But he does. But no, it's awesome. We fucking love doing it every week. And hopefully, we keep getting bigger and better. So again, all the help fucking helps us grow. So again, bigger and better next year. We'll be doing some more stuff in the off season. But again, that's the last Sunday roast for the AFL season 2025. We've loved it. Who's had the biggest roast this year? Who have we roasted the most, do you think?
Mine's really Craig McRae. I hate that idiot.
Craig McQuay. Yeah.
Craig McQuay.
I can't think off the top of my head. Probably Carl. I gave Carlton a couple bags. But thanks for joining. Enjoy.
Anyone that listened this year, if you listen to this episode, we appreciate you so much. Every single one of you, any listens. We absolutely love doing the Sunday roast. We can't wait to do it again next year. Cheers to everyone that tuned in. 100K Sports, you know where to find us. Send this episode to someone. Send it to one of your Geelong mates. Keep your Geelong mates accountable. They dogged it. They absolutely dogged it. It was an all-time choke job right in front of me. Right in front of me, Daz. Good work, mate.
Brisbane's
good year.
Oh, mate.
Let's relax.
What are you prepared to lose today? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website